How working with the 5 elements can boost your manifestation power. Manifest using the 5-element principle. In this video we will explore how working with the elements can significantly boost your manifesting power. When working with the elements, there are internal elements which is internal alchemy and external elements which is external alchemy. Here we will deal with internal elements. What are the 5 elements of nature? There are lots of metaphysical significance with these 5 elements, while some people haven't got a grasp of what these 5 elements are and what they are really all about. Today I will explain what are the fundamental 5 elements, where they originate, and their manifesting power. An element in the metaphysical world is a pattern or a property on which it repeatedly represents itself on different levels. This means that an element can manifest on different levels, and these different levels are emotional level, mental level, physical level, spiritual level, and beingness or personal level. So these patterns can be identified in a group of 5. These behaviors or pattern appears in everything. What are the sacred elements? The way we identify these patterns is by using our 5 senses as the foundation: a sense of sight, hearing, smell, taste, and a sense of touch. This is the basis of the 5 elements. As simple as it sounds, it has its inner meaning. It is not something you can understand just by hearing about it or reading about it, but it takes patience and contemplation to understand its significance. The words or the terms are not important. What is important is what these terms represent. What are the universal elements? On the physical level and ideals with light, one of the known and identifiable characteristics of light is that it brings clarity, it enables one to see, it stimulates activities, things become active where there is a presence of light. On the simplest way we can identify is the appearance, which is also known as element of fire. An ear deals with sounds, vibrations, and disturbances. With an ear a person hears, not only sound but the ability to listen and respond to something. By listening a person can learn something new and acquire a skill. With movement, we get shapes, and this can be summarized as a movement, which is also known as the element of water. A nose gets sense and smell, but there won't be any smell without air. Our lungs enable us to inhale air in and out. The smell of something, that is the explosion or the chemical reaction taking place between that compound and air in the atmosphere. And so the element of space, which is commonly understood as wind. Whenever you taste something, your taste buds identify the chemical compound in food. It is the specific taste of something that tells you what type of substance is in that item. Salt, for example, every person knows how salt tastes like, so is sugar, lemon, etc. On the fundamental level, this is the element of substance, commonly understood as the earth element. The last final element is the sense of touch. Most of the traditionalists will tell you the skin is the sensory input for this kind of element, but I beg to differ here. This element's sensory organ is the beingness itself. It is the actual physical sense. We feel the wind, we feel the weight of something by lifting them up, but it is not only that, we also feel with our bones and muscles. If it is too cold outside, we can feel it in our bones and teeth, which has nothing to do with just the skin. If you swim inside the mud and fresh water, with eyes closed, it is the entire body that will tell you the different densities. And this is the element rock, mountain, also known as metal element. Why use the principle of 5 elements? If you already know about the law of attraction, you might be wondering, the law of attraction works perfectly, why should I bother learning about the principle of 5 elements to manifest something? We all understand that the principle of law of attraction is not just magic, it is something that works based on principles. Once you understand clearly how this principle works, then you can always troubleshoot when something doesn't work the way you want. Manifesting by using the principle of 5 elements takes it further for those who want to advance into law of attraction and spiritual growth. The 5 elements are the universal language, and if you are able to speak a universal language, you are able to create what you want by applying this law of 5 elements. What is the principle of the 5 elements? So in order to create what you want, you simply need to understand what is the principle of the 5 elements. The principle of the 5 elements is that, whenever anything is created or manifested, they go through 5 stages of creation. Which these stages are the 5 elements. And in order, it begins with light, space, vibration, property, power. You will find anything in universe, be a mobile phone, a tree, a person, a star, anything in universe has to undergo through these 5 stages before it is fully created. Let us take a look on how this process works. Say you have an idea, you came up with this bright new idea of manufacturing a kid's toy, but you don't know exactly how to make this idea into reality. But you decided to spend a little bit more time on your idea to figure out how it works. The more time you spend on brainstorming about your ideas, you start to make movements, doing researches, asking, etc. Then you talk to a professional who decides to do a sketch and technical blueprints on what your idea is all about and how to make it a reality. Then you realize you need money for manufacturing and other expenses. After representing your idea to investors, they become interested to invest in your now well-presented idea. Then the product is launched within a couple of weeks. You can see that the process started with a vague idea to a fully functional product. The first stage was the idea, then it leads to making more time and then communication, then a pattern which was a property or documented idea, and finally production. So the key here is to make space for your idea, which is the element of space. We make space by setting a specific time for what we want, then we use the element of power by staying in focus on what we want. This will create vibrations, which is the element of water, then it creates networks of communication to the necessary material for whatever it is that we want to create. You must create necessary conditions for your idea to come into fruition. You must make space, and provide the necessary material for your ideas to come into physical manifestation. In the creation process, you will end up going back and forth into the cycle of creation until your intention is fully created. You will realize that you need some skills, you create space on that stage, you realize you might need money for your ideas to manifest, you begin to work on that level too. Sometimes you may need to flex your schedule, maybe spend less time watching TV and more time on your ideas. These are the simple principle that you will find yourself working on. For those who use the law of attraction, sometimes things don't work properly because you will find out that the creative process has a blockage on either of these stages. And once you clear these blockages, the creation process will go smooth.